You are suited for number 2. And the sooner you realize that, quite literally, the better you will become. That, at its most basic level, is the philosophy that Hugo has for Isagi in Blue Lock Chapter 333. Now, basically, the majority of this chapter is Hugo talking to Isagi about his aptitude only being number 2, but elaborating on that in a way that actually makes sense. Essentially, because Japan, or the Blue Lock team, is made up of all strikers, it's a hybrid team that takes the best out of the collective and the individual. The right talent in the right place is the ultimate adaptability group. Hugo's philosophy involves that of talent, environment, and luck. Talent being 66%, environment being 33%, and luck being 1%. But that 1% is reliant on Isagi Oichi. And for Blue Lock, the team has been barely winning because of Isagi Oichi's 1% luck. And because of that, France is not letting that luck equation ever come to fruition. Essentially, because Isagi Oichi keeps evolving because of the players on the team and vice versa, that's the only way they've been able to win. Isagi himself even realizes because he's able to adapt and evolve, that's why everyone in Blue Lock has been able to do so. Because of this, the Japanese team right now is growing on the assumption of the endless new ideas and creativity, which means, paradoxically, Isagi Oichi is not allowed to stop thinking or evolving. If he stops growing, the team will collapse. That pressure is what's creating impatience. Hence, the pressure of being number 1, everything in Blue Lock, so on and so forth. And that in itself is easy to predict and shut down. That all to be said, in Hugo's mind, that makes Isagi Oichi not fit to be number 1, but instead to be number 2. Not literally number 2, but the world's best number 2. Number 2 in this case, most likely meaning midfielder. Hugo wants to reach for the exact same thing for Loki. Loki being the actual perfect representation of a striker because he has all the physical attributes from birth. In Hugo's mind, being number 2 means controlling the organization with a bird's eye view from the second highest spot, being the number 1's greatest understander and their equal. And if Isagi Oichi continues to fight to become the world's number 1 striker, Blue Lock will collapse, which is why he suggests and offers Isagi the number 2 spot to join alongside him. And this leads into multiple different avenues, which also plays a part in what happened during the Nigerian game and the moment in between before the France game. Isagi Oichi, during his specialized training, was told by Ego to find out how to create game-winning moments, or at least moments in the games that change how the game is played. Essentially, he has not done that yet. And the reason for that is because he hasn't fully understood himself, which leads me back to the Nigerian game where the curiosity of himself came to bloom. And essentially, that is what Hugo is trying to tell Isagi. The curiosity of himself is something he needs to understand without relying on other people. He needs to fully embrace that in himself and his physical attributes in order to evolve further. Basically, adapting to himself in order to play better, without the need or help of anyone else. In doing so, him stepping back and taking number 2, it forces Blue Lock to evolve without depending on Isagi Oichi. So Rin, Bachida, Reo, all of them would have to basically evolve themselves without hoping that Isagi will do that for them to do it. And I think the biggest thing about this is it's not Hugo trying to demean Isagi, even though he's basically giving him his own treatment that he did within the Nigerian game and is basically rage baiting the literal hell out of Isagi. He does have a point. Becoming number 2 would actually help Blue Lock in the long run. But what Hugo doesn't know is that Isagi has the ability to adapt. So if he's able to adapt that mindset in terms of bettering himself while not relying on Blue Lock to do it for him, to essentially help exceed his expectations and his adaptability when it comes to his playstyle, he can still have the thought process of becoming the world's number 1 while still adapting to himself, which would essentially override Hugo's philosophy that he's trying to instill on Isagi. I think overall, Hugo's ideal makes sense, but there is some truth in a lie and some lie in a truth, and that is basically what we're getting from Hugo right now. More than anything, I'm curious to know how this will play out and how Isagi will react to this, on top of how Blue Lock will react to this going forward.